just, here, I'm gonna move this. Would you just point out the various offices and such on here, and when the folks
Sure.
come up here, they'll be able to
Sure.
figure themselves here.
We'll start in the basement, and the right-hand side here is where the jail cells are, and there's actually a restroom in the basement, but it's clear over here in the opposite corner. And of course, that's not how it is today. I mean, today we have a toilet in every cell, but you know, back then, definitely a lot different. Most of the rooms in the basement, except for the jail cells, aren't labeled, so we really don't know what they were used for. Assuming vaults and you know, HVAC.
Can you go behind it and read upside down?
So yeah, this area was the jail cells, and that's, you know, it is what it is. That's pretty interesting. We actually still have jail cells in the basement of the current courthouse. We open that facility up every year during the rally. It is.
You don't use it though, just open it up, right?
Well, we open it up and they run 50 to 55 people a day through that old facility. And I mean, it's the old Gray Bar Hotel. I mean, it has metal bars and it's the real deal.
Okay, what is north, what is, I mean, so how that sat on the,
It, as near as I can tell from the photos, is that the drawings are oriented so that north is up.
okay.
So that's a good way it is.
Right.
I remember Roger and Gina and Halofka lived in the basement.
They were the jailers.
Living quarters down there.
Right. You know, that continued on. In my tenure with the county, I actually demolished and remodeled what was the living quarters of the jail that's in the basement of the current courthouse. That is where our probation office, our court services people work out of now. So there was a you know, a full living quarters in there. There was a full bathroom with a tub and all of that sort of stuff. And all I can say is it must have been a really cold place to live.
Yeah, very nice.
The only restroom on the main floor is here in the corner, and it aligns with the rest of them, so they were virtually stacked. I mean, that's still a modern technique of, you know, making the plumbing all work. All the county offices were on the main floor. Like I say, I apologize, I'm struggling with
Here, I can help some of this stuff. This is, that's the sheriff.
this is the register of deeds, isn't it?
Yep, that's the auditor. There's the superintendent, and there's the surveyor. They are different offices.
That's an interesting piece. The superintendent of schools was, you know, in the courthouse, and we still have records, you know, in the vaults from that timeline that you know, have been there, you know, since the late 1800s. The interesting piece is the second floor was where all the judicial things were, and that's where there was one large courtroom and several smaller hearing rooms, and they're labeled often as jury rooms. So we must have really been able to be efficient to use one courtroom and have several jury rooms running at the same time. But once again, one restroom, and I guess to me that seemed to be kind of interesting that in the whole building. These are exact mirrors as you go all the way up and down, and you know, it makes you wonder how they had them signed, I guess. I have no idea of the original heating system, but it looks like they were going to steam radiators, a single pipe steam radiator system in this upgrade. And typically, you know, that was the old radiators that bubbled and gurgled all the time because the steam went up to the radiators, and after the steam condensed back to water, the same pipe drained it back to the boiler. And so as you had low points and whatnot, that's where there was a lot of that gurgling and you know, burping and sort of things that were going on in the building.
And Kevin, explain that how this schematic came about and what the date is and a few things like that. It's as I understood it, this isn't the layout. I mean, it was built, it was drawn from, and I'll just let Kevin take over from there.
Well, I mean, we discovered it. I don't truly know how they developed it. I mean, if this was the original use, but I know this was made in 1929, so the building would have been roughly you know,
It's
40 years old.
Yeah, 1894.
And, you know, after 40 years, they were looking at a HVAC system upgrade, you know, which, you know, I'll take this minute to talk about the current HVAC system in our courthouse. It's a little over 50 years old, and, you know, it's been functioning, but, you know, obviously as technology changes, they make, you know, our commissioners have been making changes to save energy and provide better comfort in these buildings, and that's what these drawings were created from. And it's actually done by a train company, which, you know, we can all probably identify with as, you know, because the company's still in business today, so.
No central air.
Definitely no central air. That's not how we do things today, of course. But, you know, we didn't have near the heat generation devices. I mean, these lights all put off heat, these computers, all these electronic devices. I mean, we have a lot more heat gain today than we did then. Not that the buildings were any less uncomfortable or more uncomfortable in hot summer days, but definitely a different time.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.